So every now and then we find ourselves feeling a little bit like Mephibosheth, right? A little bit like Mephibosheth. We know who that is. Most of us are familiar with him. But Mephibosheth was a son of David's best friend, Jonathan. And we know the story goes with David and Jonathan that the Bible says that God gave them a love that they were as close as brothers. So much so that Mephibosheth was the heir to the throne. He was the son of Saul, the king at that time. He said, only promise me one thing, that you won't let anything bad happen to my kids. And David said, I'll tell you what, if you help me, I will make sure that nothing bad happens to your kids. Nothing bad happens to your family line. And so years later, Saul is dead. Jonathan is dead. David is now the king over the whole land. And David began to feel an unction in his heart, because he remembered his promise to his friend Jonathan. He remembered his friendship with Jonathan. He remembered that promise that he made, and he thought to himself, is there anybody left in the land that I can love on to show my love for Jonathan? And one of his servants said, well, there's one of Jonathan's sons named Mephibosheth, but he's lame in the feet because he was dropped when he was a baby. And David said, I don't care if he was dropped. I don't care what his legs look like. Go get him. So the servants went out to this little city in the back of town, right? Across the tracks, the poor folks, the hood, the ghetto, the place where nobody wanted to go. They went to a place called Lodabar. And they found Mephibosheth there. Imagine Mephibosheth sitting in his little project, sitting in his little shack, sitting in his little makeshift little world that he had put together for himself, with his broken feet and his broken heart and his broken mind, not believing that he deserved anything better than what he had, even though he was the son of a prince. He had learned to accept his poverty. He was a son of royalty, but instead of wearing a crown, he wore despair. He wore doubt, and all of a sudden you hear a knock on your door. Who is that knocking? Is it the bill collectors? I've been running for them. I've been looking at my call ID. I've been trying to duck them. Maybe this time they're going to want to take the last little bit of stuff that I have. Who is this? Is it somebody trying to kill me? Is it somebody trying to take my life? No, it's messengers from the palace. And they'd come and tell him that the king wants to see you. The king wants a meeting with you. Imagine being Mephibosheth as you grab your cane or grab your walker and straighten out your little broken legs and limp your way to the door to go and visit the king, wondering, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Is he going to kill me? Am I going to lose my head today? Not knowing that your whole life was about to get flipped upside down. Imagine being Mephibosheth, walking into the throne room, walking into the court and seeing David sitting on the throne, but your own life has beat you up so much that you can't even look at him eye to eye. You're holding your head down and you're depressed and you're down. He said, what did I do? And he looks at you and says, I want to love you because of my relationship with Jonathan. And Mephibosheth says, well, why would you want to love on me, a dead dog such as I am? Mephibosheth did not see himself as the son of a prince. He saw himself as a dog. He saw himself as a dead dog, less than nothing. That's what his mindset was. And David had to tell him, look, I don't know what you've been through. I see your legs, but I'm not worried about that. I know other people laughed at you. I know other people counted you out. I know you tried to run, but you couldn't keep up because your legs didn't work right. But I'm not looking at that right now. What I'm looking at is Jonathan. Somebody ought to be glad that that's what God sees when he looks at us. That's a snapshot. That's a picture. David in that moment, he's a representation of the love of God. And we come before God with our broken legs, our broken walk, and our broken hearts, feeling like we don't deserve anything, not knowing that we are the sons and daughters of royalty. And we say, God, what did we do to deserve to be in your presence? And he says, I want to show you love, not for your sake, but for the sake of my son Jesus. Because you are in him, and anything connected to him has to be blessed. And because you have a relationship with him, I'm going to bless you. It's not your brokenness of your legs that I'm looking at. It's the cross of my son Jesus that I'm seeing right now. And I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you exceeding abundantly above all that you could ask or think. See, Mephibosheth one day ate breakfast in a shack. But that exact same day, he ate dinner in the palace. And one day Mephibosheth went from being surrounded by rats and roaches to being surrounded by royal stallions and stables. In one conversation, he went from sitting on a dirt floor to sitting with princes at the banquet tables. And see, again, keep in mind, sometimes the enemy is invited to watch you eat your dinner at the table.